Good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing? I'm freaking exhausted. I just got done with a partial shift at work. You always know that the tone of the day is great whenever they ask you if you want to leave early the moment that you walk in. And you have to adult. Anywho, today is 11/7, so it's shortly after our full moon in Taurus. Hope you had a wonderful full moon. This is also like a timeless reading, so if it happens to meet you today, tomorrow, a week, month, year from now, hi, how you doing? My name is Kat. I am part of Kat's Loops and Lore, and I, like most people, am just trying to find a way to rekindle some passion in life, right? 111 on the clock. I find that patience has been so critical these last few days. Understanding that with Uranus going back into Taurus, which, Taurus doesn't like crazy uncertainties, like my hair is doing whatever the hell it wants, right? It likes creature comforts. It's ruled by Venus, and it likes stability. It likes to be left in the known. So for Uranus to be coming back, retrograde at least, it kind of leaves us to have that moment of like, hindsight is 2020, right? Whatever's been challenging you, or whatever you were like, I really did not appreciate this, just that disruption. King Uranus in its full glory, right? Now we can kind of take a look at those disruptions, right? For me, I have to look back to the exact dates when Uranus went into Taurus, but I know I had to deal with losing my car. I had my first ever experience with a deer colliding with me on my way to work. That was interesting. And just having to learn to truly listen when my body is saying, stop. You are going, and I need you to take a break, right? I blame that on my 6th house Capricorn. The burnout is real. But I've got my cards. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups and the Upright, right? About being able to approach your emotional, spiritual state, really. Acknowledging that you have this new strength. Being able to register when enough is enough and when you need to step back. When you notice that your battery is literally blinking and you're like, I should have stepped away like 2 hours ago, but here we are, right? So let's go and see what Starlight would like to tell us. If you hear any drilling, I apologize in advance. They're working on the roof. So, Spirit, what message do we have for the collective today? As my cards don't want to really... They may not even want to do this. I've been finding that I'm really having to learn to prioritize rest. And it's like, are we done resting? Because I'm ready to go do something now. sound off below. Is there anything that you feel that's been eluding you that you've really wanted to do over the past couple weeks, days, really? For me, it's the gym. I really want to get back into the gym. I just haven't had the energy to get back on that darn treadmill. But I walked him. We had a good run the other day. Not because he got loose or anything, but he went to go see the groomer. And maybe that's something, right? Needing to step back. Taurus is also all about the luxury, comforts, self-care, whatever that looks like for you. What is the message that the collective needs to hear today? Ooh. Not sure if I fully saw that or not. That was a little dramatic. Did a couple little twists and turns there. So at the very bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Wands. That could probably be significant later, but the Ten of Swords in the reverse, right? And if the bottom of the deck is more like a theme of the message, then it could be how we're feeling in the here and now, right? So if we look at our little book, because ADHD, right? So what they have to say about the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords reversed indicates the asker is having a hard time moving on after a recent betrayal or loss. They have repressed their sadness about the situation. It may be holding on to resentment or anger. This card can also mean the clouds are finally parting and better days lie ahead. There is an opportunity to make a major breakthrough and enter a new phase of life that is more peaceful and fulfilling. Right? So normally whenever this card is in the upright, it is like ruin, failure, bitterness. But here we have survival, like we finally made it through. Swords is a lot of like mental clarity. I like to call them like the voices in your head, right? Your self-doubt, your limiting beliefs. That can be represented a lot by the swords. So for this one to be survival, improvement, healing, it can also be despair and relapse. But it's showing that we're finally releasing ourselves. Tens are all about closure, getting ready for the next chapter, right? Numerology, it would break down to 1, and ones are beginnings. So being able to finally let go, and for being ready for just the new phase that is coming in. You've done your work, and it's recognized. It's alright. Take a deep breath. Better times lie ahead. The card that flipped out so energetically was the Four of Wands. Four of Wands is also 1111, so new beginnings and everything. If we look at the Four of Wands in the reverse, someone needs a nap. What are we seeing, right? Some key words are lack of support, instability, feeling unwelcomed, transience, lack of roots, and potentially a home conflict. What we have written is the Four of Wands reverse can signify that the querent has recently reached an important goal but has not taken the time to celebrate the achievement. This card reminds the querent to acknowledge how far they have come. So if you're going, and you never stop to treat yourself, right? Or at least reflect. And that can be really seen for those who may be suffering burnout, right? Because you accomplish one goal, and then all of a sudden you realize that there's another goal. You never stop to celebrate those small milestones. Sometimes a long-term goal needs to be broken down into smaller ones, right? And whether it's you go get your favorite dessert, whether it's you set aside some time to do something that you really enjoy, like for me, it would be writing, journaling, painting, even. I recently picked up a new set of markers, and I've been working on trying to relearn the medium. I haven't touched it in, like, my goodness, almost like 10 years, because I've moved on to fiber arts. Gotta love the ADHD hobbies, right? Let's finish reading the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands reversed can also indicate insecurity in the querent's home environment with family members or love interest. Perhaps they are in a period of transition with their living situation or in their close relationships. Hmm. I feel like we have been feeling this energy a lot, especially, I know my personal situation is that I know everyone has their beliefs, okay? I know I definitely feel like the black sheep of the family. And I say that not just because I'm like doing tarot and I'm not like sticking to traditional religious beliefs as the rest of my family does, but also just on politicals, right? I hate going into political conversations, especially at home, because there's almost like this ignorance where there's a lot of Taurus energy in my home. My parents have very strong Taurus energy where they have secured themselves. They are very set in their beliefs, very set in the way they do things. And heaven forbid, change comes along and they freak out. I know in some astrology videos that I've been following and see every once in a while, they say that whenever your soul signed its contract to come into this lifetime, you chose your mother, right? My mother is a Gemini rising. She's a Cancer sun. I myself am a Gemini moon. When I say, and I'm a Leo rising, which I later learned that my grandmother, her mother, was a Leo. Maybe a Leo sun. So, in a way, it kind of makes me feel a little sad that I didn't get to really interact with her too much. But my mom can be a really big wet blanket. Having to be the one who steps in and calls them out when they are not acting quote unquote proper on the outside. Right? Like if they start getting short with people, if they're like starting to get a little snappy, I have no problem sending my parents away. I apologize for their attitude and their not so nice words. I personally have had over 10 years of customer service. I understand. I've worked my way up into management of customer service, and I'm just like, you go sit down. You need to apologize. You need to stop. That's rude. And the way they get so embarrassed, it's almost like a small little victory, because these are the people who raised me. And I'm sitting here going, that is not going to fly. No, ew. And I've started doing that. I'll just look at them and go, ew. That's not good. The way they suddenly change their behavior and realize they're like, oh no, oh no. Right? So, personally, right? Things are a little uncomfortable at home, but we have lifted the veil. We have an 11. I'm going to leave that in there. We have 11/11 sitting here right now on this card. And give me 1 second. Okay. I went ahead and pulled up what angel number 11/11 means on my phone real quick so that I can see it and read it to you. So, angel number 11/11 is often interpreted as a sign of new beginnings, a reminder to stay positive, and a call to manifest your dreams, right? So maybe right now we're feeling blocked by that, right? Since it's in the reverse, we're feeling that discomfort, we're feeling that kind of blockage, but it is a sign that things are turning for the better. Something new is in the pipeline. We've done the work, right? Wands are all about the fire energy, whether it be Leo, whether it be Aries or Sagittarius, and we are moving into Sagittarius season. We're currently in Scorpio season, right? We're also about to go through a Mercury retrograde, where Mercury will be in Sagittarius and then retrograde back into Scorpio. So, we've done some reflection. We've done some work. Yes, we're still feeling like we're being blocked. That some things are just not... they're still uncomfortable. And that's okay. Right now, it's about finding and celebrating. However you want to celebrate. Make the time. What was the milestone that you hit? It may be insignificant to you in hindsight, or in the moment. You're like, I did it, I need to move on, right? I think of it like a video game. Whenever you're working hard to progress through the first chapter, right? And let's use Final Fantasy VII as an example, just because it's fresh in my head. When you're going through the first chapter, right? We'll even say... no, I think it's the first chapter. It's fresh, but not that fresh. Whenever you're moving around with Cloud right off of the train, he does the signature flip right off the train, and Barrett's telling you to get your ass in gear because we gotta go, right? What milestones have you celebrated, right? You got to the reactor. Sweet. Did you take time to, number one, refresh your stats at that bench? Because you know when there's a bench, there's a boss fight, right? We have Mars in Sagittarius right now, I believe. Went and checked. I use Astro Gold on my phone. But yes, we have Mars currently in Sagittarius at 2 degrees. And even though it gets a lot of bad rap for being the planet of aggression and whatnot, it's also drive. It's action, right? Currently, right now, it is right in alignment with Uranus retrograde in Gemini. So, it hasn't fully moved back into Taurus yet. I think that's actually supposed to happen tomorrow. So, forgive me, as I believe I've been saying almost through this entire reading that it was happening today. But we're also reflecting on Chiron, right? Chiron is transiting through Aries, and Chiron is our wounded healer in the house of self, right? For me, that is in my higher education, my philosophies, my beliefs. It's really kind of putting me through some stuff, right? Your cloud, you just jumped off of the train. Did you celebrate the victory of getting off that gosh darn train? Sometimes it's just about celebrating the little steps. Waking up this morning. Say you made a list. How much of your list did you get checked off? And did you celebrate the fact that you were able to get that much checked off, especially in this kind of atmosphere? I'm celebrating the fact that even though I had some killer back pain almost all day at work, I made it to lunch. I resisted the temptation of leaving early right whenever I got there, and I worked more than half my shift before I was like, okay, alright, I'm ready to go. If it's available, I'll take it. And I went and treated myself to some Dunkin'. Nice hot meal, got a nice hot coffee, and was able to enjoy my drive home and hit some grocery shopping. So I would encourage you guys, whenever you see this, whether it be November 7th, whether it be weeks, days, months, years after I originally post it, celebrate the little wins. Because if you don't celebrate it, who will? We are the MCs of our stories. And if we don't learn to celebrate ourselves in even the smallest steps, then I'll ask again, who will? You have a wonderful day. Make good choices. Stay safe. And get some rest. Whatever rest means for you, it's okay. You're allowed to take a break and actually recharge. Have a wonderful day.